His findings denied. I'm bounding him up to Superior Court.
On New at 6, Adam Bauer is accused of shooting a woman after opening fire at a car full of people. He was denied bond in court today for the second time since it happened back in April. Responders call this a road rage incident since it happened as people sat in bumper-to-bumper traffic during a busy Orange Crush weekend. His defense attorneys are claiming he doesn't have a proven history of violence on his record.
He said he was in fear for his life, yet he opened the window and used a gun.
He doesn't have any prior history, he's not a danger to the community. So we're asking the court to set a reasonable bond.
You said he's not a danger to the community. He shot at people who didn't have a gun.
Right now, he's facing 6 felony counts of aggravated assault for every person that was in the car. Thankfully, the woman who was hit was not seriously hurt. Today, President Biden visited South Carolina to highlight the billions of dollars in clean energy manufacturing investments coming to the state. There will be 1,800 new jobs in clean energy manufacturing, 600 in South Carolina alone. According to the president, the investment is possible because of his economic agenda. He says Bidenomics is a different way of investing in the middle class.
40 years of trickle-down limited the dream to those at the top. But I believe that every American willing to work hard should be able to get a good job no matter where they live, in the heartland, in small towns, in every part of the country. To raise their kids on a good paycheck, keep their roots where they grew up. That's the American dream.
He also called out all of South Carolina's Republican members of the House for voting against his economic agenda. Those Republicans have said President Biden doesn't have much room to talk about the economy, citing interest rates and inflation. South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster responded to Biden's visit, saying in part, quote, South Carolina is red hot with a booming economy, a growing population, and a quality of life unmatched by any state. He also touted the state's role in politics, citing 2 presidential visits in the last 6 days. Well, tonight, a 5th person is in jail, charged with the 2021 killing of DJ Fields, a Bluffton High School football player. WJCL 22 News' Andy Cole joins us now live. And Andy, the solicitor wants to charge this person as an adult.
Yeah, Shannon, it was in early March of 2021 when DJ Fields was shot and killed on Bluffton Parkway right behind me. According to the solicitor, there was a 15-year-old involved. But on Thursday, that 15-year-old, he's now 18, they arrested him. But the challenge becomes charging him as an adult.
It's been a nightmare ever since March 5th of 2021.
2 years, 4 months, and a day since Bluffton High School football player DJ Fields was shot and killed, the 14th Circuit Solicitor announced the 5th and likely final arrest for Fields' murder.
He is 18 now, but he was 15 at the time of the crime. Accordingly, we have to remove this case at the beginning from family court.
The unnamed co-defendant has been charged with murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, assault and battery by a mob in the 1st and 2nd degree, and is being held in the Department of Juvenile Justice. They join 4 others charged with the shooting death of Fields. Solicitor Stone says the next hurdle is getting this 5th defendant tried as an adult.
If he is prosecuted as a juvenile, he can be held until his 21st birthday. If he is prosecuted as an adult, he faces the exact same sentence and sentence range that Jimmy Green did.
Back in May, Green pled guilty and was sentenced to 40 years in prison.
I would just like to say thank you for putting the time and effort.
DJ's parents, DeJuan Fields and Kima Bryant, were thankful for the news.
It means everything to me to know that it won't bring our son back, but it'll take somebody, dangerous off the streets.
Solicitor Stone says the process to try this new defendant as an adult could take months.
Obviously, he's an adult now. He wasn't an adult when this took place, but I think it's a proper thing. Again, it's not common. It's not something that we do often, but it is something we do when we think it's the right thing to do. And in this case, that's what we think.
So, Andy, what does the solicitor have to prove to get this new defendant tried as an adult?
Well, Shannon, the Supreme Court actually lays out 8 different factors that a solicitor must prove and a judge must consider before waiving a minor to an adult court. It's things like the seriousness of the crime, if the crime was violent in nature, and whether a grand jury could return an indictment. We'll, of course, stay on top of the story and bring you the latest when we have it. For now, live in Bluffton, I'm Andy Cole, WJCL 22 News.
All right, Andy, thanks so much. Well, on new at 6.